Well, I want to take a little time today to memorialize, to honor my friend RC Sproul. As some of you are well aware of, RC is no longer with us. He's absent from the body, but he is most certainly present with the Lord. RC had a profound impact on my life, and his legacy continues on through the many things that he has taught me, the many conversations that we had, and the great fun we had playing golf together. Today, I want to talk about a few things in memorializing RC. The first is his marriage to Vesta. He was married to Vesta for, I think, 57 or 58 years. And he said on the Bible Answer Man broadcast that she was his American Express card. He never left home without her. Listen to this.
You have a love affair going on with your wife.
I sure do. She's my American Express card. I never leave home without her. Well, I met her when I was in first grade. And we've celebrated 47 years of marriage. We went together for 8 years before that. So we're starting to get to know each other.
And she's kind of smiling at you right now through the glass. Vesta's here, and she's with RC as ever. And the two of you have really been a team in ministry. Talk about the importance of having a team in ministry when your wife is not just tangentially involved or tolerating what you do, but she really understands what you do, stands by you, and has really facilitated so much of what you do in many different ways.
Oh, wow. She's a tremendous encouragement to me because, Hank, when you're in the battlefield for truth, there's some fearful things that take place. And I've always said the only necessary ingredient for courage is fear, because you don't need any courage to do what you're not afraid to do. But if there is fear there and you're going to work your way through it, you got to have courage, and it helps to have people encourage you. And that's what she has been for me over the years. When we started our ministry so many years ago, we had a study center in Western Pennsylvania, as you know. And I'd gotten a lot of counsel from Francis Schaeffer when we began that enterprise. And the ministry was such that we had people in our homes, slept in our homes, ate at our table, and we would have our theological discussions there, so that the spouses of the staff members were very, very important. And Vesta's been engaged in ministry with me from the very beginning.
I also asked RC on the Bible Answer Man broadcast what motivated him in ministry. And what he said that day on our broadcast, I think, is worth listening to again. I hope all of us can have that exact same passion.
Yeah, that's a good question. Somebody asked me the other day when I was going to retire, and I said, I think they were kind of hopeful. I said, when they pry my cold, dead fingers off my Bible. And I think, what motivates me to the best of my ability in understanding my own motives. I can't get over it, Hank. I can't get over that God saved me. I can't sing Amazing Grace without saying it as a biography of my life. And the thing that drives me is my gratitude for what God so graciously did for me. Because I didn't do anything for him. I had no desire for him. He interrupted me in the middle of my paganism and brought me to my knees, forgave every sin I ever committed. And I said I'd crawl over glass to say thank you for that for the rest of my days. I just wish I had more years to preach and to teach, because it's such a joy.
I want to add one final thing, and that is, I remember saying to RC that he had replicated his life in my life, in the lives of so many others. He was a great leader because as a result of RC's life, there are many great leaders who continue on his work. And what I love about RC is that we had profound theological differences. And he called those well, those differences that did not reflect the essentials of the historic Christian faith. And so we had many personal debates, discussions. I won't say what we were drinking at the time, but we had a lot of fun together when we were playing golf, and great discussions. And RC during those times was able to separate the discussion from the friendship. And so while we had disagreements, we were both convinced that we would spend eternity in heaven with the Lord. This is the same way I felt about my father. My father was a Reformed pastor, and he and I would have debates, but ultimately we know we're going to spend eternity together. And some of my greatest memories of RC were memories that were forged on the golf course. I remember way back when RC was still Ligonier Valley. And in Pennsylvania, we used to play at Ligonier Country Club. And I'd stay in one of the cabins, and he would come to the cabin early in the morning, and he'd knock on the door of the cabin. I'd come out. We'd play golf until dark. Then we'd shoot baskets in his driveway. Then we'd go into his basement. We'd play pool. During those times, I learned a whole lot, almost as much during those times as I did listening to his cassettes. Back then, they were cassettes that I'd listened to. But RC had a profound impact on my life, and I remember him talking on the Bible Answer Man broadcast about strokes, and whenever he brought that up, and if you listen to the broadcast, I've played them again recently, he talks about the fact that I asked for strokes, and that's one thing I would tell you is not true. I never asked him for strokes. He was always asking me for strokes, but anyway, strokes is a whole different issue. You know, you give strokes to kind of equalize the game. Well, I guess probably early on I asked him for strokes. But one interesting thing I'll end with, and that is not all that long ago, he told me that the doctor had cleared him to play golf. He said, Henry, come down to Orlando, we'll play golf, and we did. And I was amazed that he came back from years and years of not playing golf and shot a 79. In other words, he broke 80. And if you know anything about golf, that is absolutely incredible. And he was as passionate about golf, perhaps, as he was about theology, because he found a lot of illustrations for theology in golf. Well, I can't go into that, but again, hopefully this is a meaningful tribute to RC's focus on his wife, his example in marriage, his example in ministry, and the legacy he left of never wanting to stop preaching until his last breath, and he lived out that legacy. Again, my tribute to RC Sproul, a great man, a great leader, a great mentor, a ministry that will continue on, making a difference not only for time, but also for eternity.